Thank God the Vikings beat the Browns yesterday, or you would have swept me 6-0 in our disagreements. Crazy day in London for the Vikings. Carson Wentz gets injured late in the first half. It just had that vibe that he's done. Right. Take him to the locker room, x-ray room. Anytime you hear that, had his pads off, came back, he had his pads on. Max Brosmer took one snap at the end of the half just to kneel down. But I'm thinking it's going to be Brosmer time in the second half. Wentz comes out, and the Vikings, it's like they kept hanging around.
That's right.
Hanging around, and that's the problem. You let a team hang around. The Browns had opportunities to knock them out. The Browns could never really get separation.
Right.
And then Carson Wentz puts together a great drive at the end, trusts Jordan Addison, who'd been benched for the first quarter because he missed a walkthrough and had words with Kevin O'Connell.
Damn.
You're going to have words with Kevin O'Connell, you're going to have a problem. And good for O'Connell for doing something about it. You can't let players push you around. When you're a nice guy coach, you can't let players push you around. But Addison responded with the game-winning touchdown. Vikings get the win 21-17. In a game that also included a field goal apparently hitting a camera cable that would have tied the game at 17 with just under 10 minutes left.
Right.
And nobody saw it. Nobody saw it. Yeah. It was a 51-yarder, and it hit, and it goes wide white.
Wide white?
Wide.
You wascally wabbit, you?
And wabbit season. And the league's position is they didn't have a clear view of it hitting. I mean, we've seen it. The wire moves like this, and the ball moves unnaturally.
Exactly right. I think you explained it right. I mean, this was, we know the Cleveland defense is phenomenal. They made plays and kind of kept this Vikings offense in check for a lot of the football game, to where, it wasn't pretty on either side of the ball, but it gave Dylan Gabriel and the Browns offense a chance to kind of get their feet going, and he had a good early touchdown drive. And then I think the big thing is when they were up, 17-14, they got the ball a number of times after that in good field position where you were like, ooh, if they can go score here or get a field goal, they're going to make things really uncomfortable for Minnesota. Minnesota's going to have to throw, and if you have to throw every play against this Browns defense, you're in trouble. But the Flores defense came up big a bunch of times for the Vikings. They kept the Browns away from scoring again, and that lack of offense and being able to put the Vikings away let Carson Wentz and O'Connell, as the game goes, they figure out what you want to do, how you're playing them, and they started to make some plays there late in the fourth quarter in the past game.
I talked to Wentz after the game by phone, and he's just amazed by the way O'Connell comes up with the plays. And they had a plan for not letting Myles Garrett destroy the game. They were missing 3 of their starting offensive linemen. They had Blake Brandel, who has never played center before in the NFL, replacing their 2 centers. Michael Juergens, the backup to Ryan Kelly, has a hamstring injury. Kelly is on IR because he's had 2 concussions this year, I believe 5 in all in the NFL. It was a patchwork offensive line, and they held it together just long enough, and they got it done. And they get to come back from London 1-1 for their European swing. That would have been a long plane ride, 0-2. And Wentz knows the injury that got him, or the hit that got him injured. He trying to do too much.
Yeah, that's right. Got a helmet right to his shoulder.
There was no way he was going to get the first down. But he told me, I let the heat of the moment take over, and I know I need to be smarter. I said, what did O'Connell say about that? He said, we haven't had that conversation yet.
But it's coming.
Long plane ride home.
Definitely.
That conversation's coming because he's trying to coach those things out of him.
Right.
There was a moment when they were down near their own goal line, and Wentz didn't have anything, and he scrambled for a few yards to say, hey, better than throwing it left-handed, which we've seen before.
He's got to be careful.
Spot.
To your point, he's got to be careful. When we don't know how long it's going to be with J.J. McCarthy, also within J.J. McCarthy, it wasn't like he was lighting up the scoreboard and he was playing anyways. So they need Carson Wentz here to stay alive, keep this offense afloat, and see what they do when J.J. McCarthy comes back. I think it's going to be an interesting conversation because I think Carson Wentz will continue to play well under Kevin O'Connell and what he does. Because like what you said, anybody that goes and plays for Kevin O'Connell comes away almost the same way you hear somebody go play for Shanahan or Ben Johnson or that. They come away going, whoa, he taught me things that I thought I knew already, but he taught me nuance about it, and it opened up my brain and exploded that way. Like little tricks about how to attack a coverage or how to run the route. And I mean, we've heard Carson Wentz talk about it. We've heard Kirk Cousins talk about it. I've heard Sam Darnold talk about it. I've heard Daniel Jones talk about it. They've all talked about the genius of Kevin O'Connell and his ability to to get people open. And even though they're not functioning at their highest level right now, they still get it done when they need to for the most part.
They go back and find things Wentz has done in the past, and it's plays he's been running for 9 years, but they're still different.
Yeah.
They're different, and they're better when O'Connell has the concepts.
But, Mike, we got to talk about the quarterback position because J.J. McCarthy, he's been out 2 weeks with a high ankle sprain. What's the latest as they go into their bye week?
Well, this was a 4 to 6 week ankle sprain for J.J. McCarthy. Week 5 will be their next game against the Philadelphia Eagles coming out of the bye. So I'm told it's up in the air as to whether or not he'll be available. He hasn't practiced yet. Kevin O'Connell's made it clear J.J. McCarthy's going to have to practice the whole week before he's going to be able to play. So we're going to have to just wait and see how the next 2 weeks go.
And it's interesting because we also saw Carson Wentz. He got a little banged up in today's game.
He took a left shoulder injury in the first half. It looked for a while that he may be done for the day. He finished the game. They got the win, and I talked to him afterward. He understands he has to be smarter about not taking big hits, and he took a big hit that caused that injury. I asked him if he's heard from his coach about it yet. He said they hadn't had that conversation, but it's a long plane ride back from London. And if both guys, for some reason, aren't able to go, it's undrafted rookie Max Brosmer for the Vikings in 2 weeks.
And because you brought him up, just so you know, he went to Centennial High School.
I hadn't heard that.
The home of Maria Taylor and Mike McDonald, in case you were wondering. Time for a PFT update brought to you by Google Pixel. Something interesting happened earlier in this game when Justin Fields had a pass deflected into the sky cam, Mike.
What's up, Vikings fans? It's your guy Victor here from Report Vikings. And today we're talking about a move that could take this Vikings offense from pretty good to absolutely terrifying. Yeah, I'm serious. There's one bold trade that could completely change the ceiling of this team heading into the second half of the season. We're talking about Jakobi Meyers, the wide receiver from the Las Vegas Raiders, who could be the missing piece to make this Vikings offense finally reach its potential. Let's get into it. Listen, guys, no team in the entire NFL needed that Week 6 bye more than we did. The Vikings have been decimated by injuries. We've lost J.J. McCarthy, Brian O'Neill, Aaron Jones, Blake Cashman, Andrew Van Ginkel, Ryan Kelly. Literally 32% of our starting lineup from Week 1 is out. At this point, Kevin O'Connell's doing everything he can, but it's not about the X's and O's. It's about the Jimmies and Joes. You can't call creative plays if half your roster's on crutches, man. But there's one area that's been a problem even when we were healthy, in the wide receiver room. Justin Jefferson has been doing everything for this offense. And when I say everything, I mean it. The guy's accounted for 40% of the team's receiving yards, 30% of the targets, and 30% of all receptions. That's not just elite, that's unsustainable. Jordan Addison, he's been in and out of the lineup with off-field distractions. TJ Hawkinson, career low 8.1 yards per catch. Adam Thielen looks like a shadow of his old self. And rookie Ty Felton, he's basically only been used on special teams. So even though Jefferson and Addison on paper sound like a top-tier duo, right now, Jefferson's basically carrying this entire passing game by himself. That's why I think a trade could change everything. Here's where things get interesting. Back in August, Jakobi Meyers requested a trade from the Raiders, and according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, his name is back in the mix as we head toward the trade deadline. And honestly, he checks every single box for what the Vikings need right now. Meyers is 28 years old, coming off the first 1,000-yard season of his career, and he's one of the most reliable route runners in football. He's been lining up in the slot 63% of the time this season, but he's also proven he can play outside when needed. That versatility is huge, because let's be real, the slot position for us has been a black hole so far. According to PFF, Jalen Naylor, Thielen, and Hawkinson have combined for 315 yards and 2 touchdowns out of the slot in 5 games. That's brutal. That's like one good Tyreek Hill game. Meyers gives you exactly what this offense needs. A consistent physical route runner who can move the chains and take pressure off Jefferson. He's not a flashy guy. He's not going to blow past defenders with 4.3 speed, but he's smart, dependable, and he wins on third down. Something we've desperately lacked. And get this, he's in the final year of his deal, so he's hungry. He's motivated. This is a guy who went undrafted, fought his way into a WR1 role in New England, and earned his shot in Vegas. That mentality fits perfectly with the Vikings culture. Now, the best part, the cost. This wouldn't be some blockbuster trade like when the 49ers got Christian McCaffrey or the Eagles landed A.J. Brown. According to reports, the Raiders could be willing to move Meyers for something as small as a day 3 pick swap in 2026. So you're telling me we could potentially get a proven 1,000-yard receiver for something like a 6th-round pick swap? Come on, Kwesi. That's highway robbery. That's the kind of low-risk, high-upside move that contenders make. Now, I know what some fans are gonna say. Victor, we already brought back Adam Thielen for veteran leadership. Why add another receiver? And I get it, but here's the truth. Thielen was supposed to be that reliable short yardage guy, and it just hasn't worked out. Myers can actually fill that role while giving McCarthy or Wentz a dependable safety blanket. Because if we can balance this offense, open up the middle of the field, take some heat off Jefferson, and give McCarthy another trustworthy target, this offense could become one of the scariest in the league real fast. We've got the scheme. We've got the quarterback of the future. We've got the best receiver in football. Now, it's time to give him some help. So, Vikings fans, what do you think? Should Minnesota go all in and make a move for Jacoby Myers before the deadline? Do you think he's the missing piece to unlock this offense? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to see this team finally reach its potential, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Report Vikings, and share this video with every Vikings fan you know. Skol Vikings!